Ladies and gentlemen, and all genders outside and in between, please be aware that this show is set in the mythic north, the dark and dangerous times. Some subjects may be quite triggering and may not be appropriate for people of a sensitive nature. Thank you.
Colleagues, friends, fellows of this society, I've gathered you here today in an unprecedented meeting because we face an unprecedented threat. As a collective, we've endured many hardships and survived. The massacre at Upsala Castle, where we lost so many, is still heavy in all of our hearts, and yet we persevere. But through all of that, we've begun losing another vital part of ourselves. We're losing our connection to the Vaesen. The Vaesen that we track and catalog, and historically disavowed all instances of people claiming to have lost the site, but now I can no longer maintain that position. Today, I stand before you numbering myself among those claimants. Friends, please calm yourselves. Sure of two things. It's clear to me now that I am not the first to have lost the sight, and believe that I will not be the last. As the leader of this occult academic organization, it falls upon me to make the call best, for I can no longer, in good conscience, abide by continuing to run the society, nor remain the immediate effect stepping back, with the hope that each of you will do the right thing and join me. When the site can be taken from us at any time, we can no longer operate safely. We will not do to shackle ourselves to a decaying cause, to rot with it for nothing more than tradition, nor should we attempt to. I believe that we map together massacre for best decay, not for just lost the sight, decay to rot the Vaesen.
as the words of Carl Linnaeus are drowned out by a cacophonous roar of sudden violence, the wax cylinder recording cuts out abruptly, and there's a beat of silence as you all take in what you just heard. You are in the parlor of Castle Gillenkreutz, your home, for some of you, over the past year, for one other of you, of the past 7. You are surrounded by its familiar plush red velvet and deep, heavy oaken furniture, all bathed by the golden glow of the pot-bellied fireplace. As each of you exchange looks, you will know exactly what this means. It's all finally over. The society has collapsed, and you need to get to safety. You have a contingency plan for this that involves reaching a contact named Alice on Vreta Island. This contingency plan, however, whilst it's always been in the back of your pockets, has never been in the forefront of your mind. In order to mull over the problem, pull from your memory what you recall, I'll need you to make a roll of a number of d6s equal to your logic attribute and your learning skill. Okay. Dagmar, how did you do?
I failed.
I see. Maya, how did you do?
Not so good.
Johan?
Didn't do so hot on that one.
And Astrid?
2 successes.
Excellent. For those of you who perhaps weren't so fortunate, you're not sure who you're looking for. You only know that you're supposed to head to this Vreta Island and that they will make themselves known to you. Astrid, however, you've been around the society for a little longer than the others. You are a little more familiar with their methods and with how to pull from them the information that they don't necessarily want you to know. You know that you are looking for a young lady by the name of Alice with red hair, who works for the Lasang de Douglas fisheries on the island proper.
Friends, there's nothing to worry about now. We will weather this storm as we have so many others. But perhaps it is time to enact the plan that you were told of when you first joined the society?
What plan was that?
I understand that it is a plan and that is perhaps distasteful, but it was made for a time such as this. We must head to the nearby island. Do any of you recall?
I think I skipped that day in class.
Yes, I'm sure. No matter. Perhaps let us take a moment to pack our essentials and depart.
Astrid, as you sort of expound and try to convince yourself that this is fine, there is precedent. You are not alone. You have a setup here. You're thinking over the name. Alice, where have you heard that before? And then suddenly it clicks. You've seen her at Upsala University, quite recently, in fact. You know that she is a member of the Junta, an anti-monarchy rebel group of predominantly students that are allied with the society. You know they'll be looking out for your arrival when you reach Freta Island, and you know that in order to identify them, they will show you a symbol of their organization that means you can trust them.
Very well. Is everyone ready to go?
Yep.
Feeling good. Don't need very much. Just ready to go.
I'm ready.
Very well. Keep an eye out for a woman with red hair. You may not know her. Her name is Alice.
Is she important? Like, what's?
Well, she is our contact. She is the one who will approach us when we arrive at the island, but...
She's the plan.
Yeah, she
Yes,
is.
exactly.
All right, yeah.
Very good, Dagmar. Very good. See, it's in there somewhere.
That's right.
Now, be careful. If any of you are simply approached, perhaps wait for a token of a group named the Junta.
Token like a password.
A symbol, a sketch, a drawing. Is it possible for me to have seen this and make a sketch for them?
Yes, you know the symbol of the Junta quite well at this point. Your own studies have been lucrative, after all, Astrid. And as you recall this information on this organization, you recall that in fact their symbol of recent years is a violin bowstring that has been snapped in twain.
I know that we are no musicians here, but you're familiar with violins, those lovely stringed instruments. Yes.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Good. They will show you their symbol, a snapped bowstring. If they do not, then be judicious with your words.
What does that mean?
Listen, if I see a snap bowstring, that usually means something bad, as opposed to like a non-strap bowstring, which is like, something good put together. So like, are we sure this isn't like an evil contact? Or I don't know. I mean, you've been here longer than me. I'm still kind of a freshie here, but I don't know.
I'm glad you recall that information. Yes. One perhaps could note that is not something usually demonstrably good, but desperate times must needs call for subterfuge.
So we can trust them, is what I'm hearing. Kinda,
yes.
Maybe. Okay, got it.
The plan, which you did not.
Totally. That was there for the whole thing.
Got it.
Shall we make our way?
Yes, we shall.
Let's go.
Astrid, make me a roll, please, of your logic and your learning.
That is 4 successes.
Excellent. Astrid, over your time working in the university, you've picked up a lot more about the Junta than simply what their symbol is. You also know the story behind it. The forming of the Junta was an underground organization for a long, long time, but gradually they began making noise, specifically noise against the monarchy, noise against the establishment, noise against a corrupt system that sought to crush them under a jackboot. In response, they began to protest. One night, they were invited to put on a concert for the king. Some of them refused to play. Others played so badly that they were tried for treason. After that night, many of them were said to be either killed or arrested or disbanded completely. You know that's not strictly true.
How far a journey is it to the island?
You would say about 2.5 hours. And it's as you're sort of getting up and milling around, pulling things off of shelves, perhaps, pondering around this little parlor area that you find yourselves in and beginning to make your way to the door, that something occurs to you. This is a place that has kept you safe for many, many years, but the society is gone, and this place isn't inherently safe anymore. Maybe it's something, maybe it's just paranoia. Either way, I'm going to need you to make a roll for me. This time, I'm going to need you to form a pool of your logic attribute and your vigilance skill.
Just 2 successes. Are we all making this roll?
You all are, yeah.
1 success
Okay.
on the board.
What was this roll?
Your logic and your vigilance.
Logic and vigilance.
Correct.
Does that plus logic into vigilance and create that many dice?
Yep, your logic attribute and your vigilance skill. So all of those numbers added together.
That should be it.
Okay. Dagmar, how did we do?
I don't really understand because I'm obviously the smartest one here, but I failed.
Oh, that's not like you.
Right.
Maya, how did you do?
Oh, I managed to get one.
Oh, good. Okay. Dagmar, outside the room you're in, a pipe creaks loudly, causes you to jump. But you realize that that's all it was, just the castle settling, nothing more. You're used to it at this point. Who cares? Maya and Johan, though, something's wrong. From the lower floor of the castle, you hear the sound of impact. Glass shattering as something is thrown through a window. And Astrid, you were right to be wary. You know the sound of glass shattering, sure, but following that, you recognize the distinctive whooshing sound of a sudden fire catching, beginning to devour all that it touches. And it's as you make this realization that those of you who are by the window look out of it. About 30 foot back from the castle, 2 people clad in dark clothing with hoods pulled down low over their faces dig their hands into bags at either side of them. As they reach in, they pull out bottles of clear liquid crammed with dirty cloth, which they set alight and throw directly at the castle. As you approach the windows, another joins the cacophony, the crack of a bullet leaving a chamber, and then directly in front of you, the window implodes in a shower of glass shards. Please roll me your physique and your agility to avoid getting hit by the impact.
So it's both of it together?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay. For those of you who fail, please take the wounded condition as you're hit by jagged glass that tears your skin and your clothing, beginning to draw blood. For those of you who succeed, you avoid being hit by the glass and watch as a rifle bullet clatters to the floor of the room, hitting a table leg as it rolls to a stop.
Maya, sweetheart, you and the castle get along so nicely. Perhaps you know a back way out?
Perhaps I do. Shall I ask the corridors?
Oh, that would be delightful.
I believe I hear them. Yes, I think we go this way. And upon a right, another right, and a left, and a right, and a bit more yonder.
Yeah, can we... Let's start
way
walking.
out. No, okay. Just follow. It's okay.
Lead on, Maya, lead on.
Onwards. So just ignore the tundrals of the outside. Then we, the hurdles. They make such music. You just got to follow them.
Maya, go, come on, let's go. Tell me on the way.
All right, just listen to them. Just walk in the pace
beautiful.
of the sounds.
Wonderful.
And they will open up in front of you. Do not worry.
I think I hear them actually. Anyway, no, yeah, we should go. Yeah.
Come on, onwards.
You hear the crack of another bullet impacting against the castle walls as you all exit the parlor and begin to make your way down the corridors. You can hear just 2 floors down, shouting and hooting and hollering as yet more impact, more glass shattering, another whoosh, something else has just caught fire. A tapestry maybe? It sounded big. And it's as this panic begins to take you and you hang a right and then you hang a left. Maya, please roll me let's have a look here. What have you got? Roll me your empathy and your observation, please.
Observation.
One success. Very
Nice.
good. It's as you're walking that you feel a cold chill wrap around your hand, as though something is just slipping their hand into yours, and you look to your right to see a familiar figure. They are tall, quite dowdy, dressed in finery that would have been in fashion perhaps 100 years ago. They are completely translucent and pale and blue, and they smile down at you and say, "A tragedy, dear."
It's a shame, isn't it? Absolute a shame. But we must trek onwards, huh?
We must.
Onwards.
I will show you the way out of here. Come along.
Thank you.
You're most welcome.
Thank you.
They take you by the hand and lead you down the corridors. For the rest of you, you simply hear Maya talking to the air beside her, and you see her hand begin to extend forward as though it's being dragged by something, as though she's being led. She hangs a right, and then a left, and then another, and you go down a few more floors. Which of you is at the back of this little group? Would it be Astrid? All right. Astrid, please roll me your logic and your vigilance.
One success.
One success. As you are stood at the back here, you are closest to the noise when it happens. You hear the sound of a metal snapping and something being kicked open, and there is a holler.
We must hurry. They are right behind us.
Okay.
I see Maya holding the hands of something, and I suggest that we all just grab, we form a little train. I try to grab Maya's
train.
hand.
What are we in grade school? No, you guys can form. I mean,
Give me
listen,
your
Maya.
hand.
Don't listen. It is. Fine. Gosh, take it.
We're trained now.
Trust in it. We will get there. Do not worry.
She's never been wrong
Follow.
before, even though she's a little weird sometimes. But like, she knows her stuff for some reason. So just let it happen.
Just go.
As you all let it happen and are led out of the castle, Maya, the figure who's leading you leads you true. She hangs yet more left. She takes a turn down a corridor that none of you have seen before. It is taller than it should be. You didn't think that the roofs extended this high on the first floor, and yet here you are. Somehow this place seems to extend both this floor and the one above it, and at the very top you can see there are bookshelves inlaid into the stonework itself that are coated with dust and fat spiders that make their way lazily across it. And it's as you make your way down this corridor that you burst out into an area that is familiar, the kitchen.
I've been here.
By the kitchen, there is a door that leads you out into the back garden. As you reach this place, Maya, the entity takes your hands, both of them in theirs, kisses them gently, and says, "Good luck, young one. Stay safe."
Thank you so much for everything.
You're welcome.
guard your friends and do not believe the evidence of your eyes. And it's as they say this that they fade once again back into that corridor, and you all watch as something you didn't see before trips with a loud click, and the stone wall slides back across with a low grumble.
How long has that been there? What the?
Was that always there?
Jesus.
Oh God,
Maya, dear, thank you.
You're welcome.
Let's head off now, shall we?
Okay, as you all exit, you bust out into the night, and it's at that point perhaps you realize that night has indeed fallen. Dusk has no longer held sway over the land, and now the stars are draping their skirts over the countryside, the dark of the sky encroaching closely. And you hear the telltale signs of roaring flame at the front of the house as Castle Gillenkreuz begins to succumb to the ember and to the violence. And you hear hooting and hollering and the sound of one particular loud male voice saying, "They're not here! They're not here! Try the upper floors! I don't care if it's on fire, find them!" But you have taken the back way. They didn't see that coming. You exit and you sprint out of the grounds and make your way safely away from the burning remains of Gillenkreuz. Whereabouts are you headed?
Is the way to the island through the city?
It would be, yes. You know that there is a carriage that would take you there on the outskirts of town. If you needed anything from Upsala proper, now would be the time to get it.
All right, to the tavern we go.
Yeah, I mean, I'm also going to just kind of follow Ashford on this one. He seems to, know their stuff. So, yeah, I'm just here. I don't even know what just happened a second ago. My God. I'm just here for it, though. We got to get out of here.
And I'm always strutting down the lane.
Dagmar, are you headed to your favorite haunt?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
I know the people there.
Good. Could you tell us a little more about this tavern?
Well, it's not particularly nice. It's kind of like shabby, falls apart a little bit, but there's a roaring fire and the people are friendly most of the time if you don't look at them wrong. And there's lots and lots and lots of booze, which is about everything Dagmar has retained.
Mm-hmm. You make your way into the stonework of the sailor's cauldron, smashing the door open in the way that you normally do and hearing the thud of it impact on the stone. You hear an almighty roar as the regulars turn and see you and greet you with raised tankards. The young woman behind the bar sort of rolls her eyes good-naturedly and puts down the tankard that she was cleaning and beckons you over.
I go over. I need a refill. The whole thing, please.
The whole thing? Quite the evening already.
Don't even ask.
Mum's the word, my dear. And she takes your flask, fills it up with the usual, slides it back over to you. It's on the house, love. What about your friends?
They'll take the same, but in a cup or something. Whatever you got.
I mean, should you even be drinking that? We're kind of in a hurry here. I mean, I would imagine you'd want to be on your toes and not
It's inspiration juice.
Oh, I'll take 2 then. Absolutely.
Oh, I like a man who can handle his liquor. Hang on,
Wait,
darling.
liquor. Wait, is that what inspiration juice is?
Shh.
Oh.
What else would it be, love? Here you go, drown your sorrows a bit. And she fills up 2 massive sort of keggers with this amber liquid and pushes it over to you before turning to Maya. Oh, you're a curious looking one, dear. Not seen you round here before.
No, I don't frequent the outside much, I must be honest.
Oh, really? I couldn't have told, Skin of an angel. What are you after, dear?
I suppose something that may dance upon my tongue?
Oh, well, we've not got anything too high shelf, but we've got something that'll warm the innards of your heart, if that's what you're after.
I feel like that would suit the sorrow within perfectly.
All right. No worries. Let's see if we can do something about this drink, and then maybe a little later we'll try and do something about that sorrow, eh?
Maya, you gotta try this inspiration juice. It's awesome.
I told you.
Wow.
Wow.
Maya, you get a sort of a smaller glass. It's not necessarily a glass per se. I'm not entirely sure what it is, but inside there is an amber liquid, and there's maybe that much of it. It smells pungent. She then walks over to Astrid. Hello, sweetheart. Oh, don't you look lovely? What can I get you?
Oh, you're too kind to an old lady like me. Please, just if you could just top this off, thank you.
Oh, not a problem. What's your poison, dear?
If you have a bit of whiskey, I'm not particular of which kind.
Oh, woman after me own art. Of course we do. She sort of ducks behind the bar, once again fills it, slides it across. So, sorrows, eh? Too blooming early for that kind of talk. What's been going on? Talk to Auntie Angie.
Ooh.
Fire.
Fire?
Fire.
In Upsala?
Oh, should we maybe call someone? Like, should we get someone to go over?
No, it's a minor thing. It caught us by surprise. It's nothing really. Just caught us unawares. Everything is okay.
Nothing. It was a lot of fire and a lot of shrapnel. That's
I burnt my toast.
Oh,
again.
Oh, no.
Again. God, I hate when that happens. Actually, it's pretty miserable.
Yeah.
Well,
That's what happened.
Well, Dagmar, any friend of yours is a friend of mine, or you feel free to stay for as long as you like. All right? Okay.
Thanks.
Drinks are only on the house for the first round because I do got to pay my bills, you know? All right. Take care, loves. And she does walk down the bar to serve the next patron.
A fine choice of establishment, Dagmar, but we may need something more than just inspiration juice for our journey.
Good juice.
What do you suggest?
Perhaps we should food.
All right. I mean, they make like a mean soup here, like real good soup.
Anything else other than soup, though?
Well, I mean, soup's good. You can take soup with you. You can have soup to go.
I mean, I need I don't know, like meats. I'm like a self-proclaimed meatitarian, you know, the more meat, the better. Like soup's just not, I just had a lot of inspiration juice. Like I'm good on the liquids, you know?
All right. Well, I'm sure there's some stuff around here. I believe I know a few establishments that could provide us with something to bunch on.
You know what? I believe in you. Also, follow-up question. Astrid, how long have you had that flask with you?
Oh, it is a travel case for liquid. It is very functional.
Oh, okay, cool. I was just curious is all. Anyway.
I finish my drink and I make sure to like clink with everyone as I pour a second one to go. And I'm like, should we go get some food then?
Absolutely.
I would say so.
Sounds good.
Perhaps we can stop by Sinnertaf's hearth before we go. See how they are doing.
We also might need a game plan too, because a lot just happened and we're still kind of like, recouping right now. So that might need to be in the works.
The path will unfold in front of us. Don't you worry. It always does.
Like, they don't know where we are. If they're even looking for us, like who were those people even? I don't know them.
They charged into a burning building looking for us. It's only a matter of time before they come over here anyway and look for us. We need to start being proactive about this and maybe even take the fight to them, because I'm kind of down for that. I'm 100% ready. Who's with me?
Johan, you had me for the first half.
I need more.
We are definitely not going to take the fight to them. That would be foolhardy and suicidal. No. Let us get our supplies, go to the carriage.
Right. Island. So that was the plan. You're right. This is why, you're the plan person. All right.
Inspiration juice is very good for inspiration, but not very good for remembering.
Fair, very fair, actually. I'm learning a lot about this juice. All right.
I like to improvise, okay? We just kind of like find the plan along the way. So food?
Food, yes.
Johanna, as your friends corral you out the door, you can already feel something addling at the corners of your mind. Your fingers feel oddly numb for some reason. You're not sure that's supposed to happen. But as you walk, you very easily find somewhere where you can get food. There is, for instance, a small soup kitchen that serves the local down on their luck population. There is something a little more upmarket in the sort of bakeries that are closing down for the day. They'll have left sort of their pastries in the front porch area so that people can come by and take what they will. There are sort of more small eateries that will provide the standard fare of the area. It's all up to you.
I don't know. I feel like we can probably just get something to go. So we should probably go to the pastry place. I think it was a pastry place, but they had the food out in front and they're kind of closing up, and we didn't have enough time to grab a lot of stuff. So this will probably be the best thing for us to do,
Okay.
I like pastries.
All right. Could one of you please roll me a straight D10?
4.
4. Okay. You managed to pick up 8 perfectly serviceable little cakes and sundry pastries as you're heading past the bakeries and things. There's perhaps one with like a small cherry on top. There's one with quite thick icing. It's more icing than it is cake at this point. There's a sort of a loaf with sultanas and small fruits hidden within, and there is some sort of lardy cake and some other sundry pastries. Would you like to head to the Cenotapht's Hearth before you head to the carriage?
I certainly would.
Okay, easy enough.
On the way there, I grab one of the pastries from Astra's, take a bite and stuff the rest in my pocket.
Okay. Your pocket is sufficiently full of crumbs, and that will be an absolute nightmare for you in a month. As you find your way through the city of Upsala, Astrid, you know where you're headed easily enough. You find your way past the sort of crowded mainstay areas, through the streets filled with people beginning to bundle themselves up against the chill, as winter is beginning to catch truly now in Sweden, and things are starting to get desperately chilly at night times. The night is blank and uncaring, and the cloud cover is very, very minimal out here. So you see people pulling blankets tight around themselves and ushering their children inside towards fireplaces. But easily enough, you find your way to the house and to the telltale sign of the Cenotapht's Hearth, a thrown open little hole in the ground, a trapdoor, if you will, out of which a warm orange glow emanates, and the gentle sound of metal clinking against glass, and some gentle laughter.
Let us head down and see how they are doing amidst this event.
Now, Astrid, you've been in here before. I don't believe the rest of your compatriots have. As you all walk in, Astrid, you find this place very familiar. The rest of you, it's a bit of a shock, except maybe to Maya. Every single wall, you can't tell if it's a wall or not, because there are simply shelves filled with all sorts of oddities and accoutrements, tinctures and vials and little jars and various bits of all sorts of ingredients. And there are so many of them of all sorts. The very back of this room, there is in fact a large desk upon which a young woman sits reading a thick tome. And behind it is a young man who looks almost exactly like her. Both of them are very tall and willowy, sharp cheekbones, very stern expressions. Sort of dark hair and very, very, very dark eyes, except for the right one of the young man, which is Amber. Astrid, you know these two as Ezekiel and Emmeline, the owners of the Cenotapht's Hearth.
Ezekiel, Emily, it is a pleasure to see you tonight.
Emmeline closes the tome and puts it down. Hello. And then Ezekiel follows up by standing and throwing his arms open and says, Astrid, how can we help you?
We came by to see how you are doing. There is perhaps some excitement these days. Have you heard anything?
Are you perhaps talking about the castle and the red flower?
The castle, yes. What is this red flower?
I saw it bloom maybe an hour ago. It started under the castle and reached up with red crimson petals until it consumed it and dragged it into the earth.
Yes, that would be why we are here.
I feared you were still inside.
Believe me, it was not unlikely to have happened.
I
But
see.
as fate would have it, that was not in store for us today. We are leaving the city and wanted to come by and see if you were in danger.
No, we are fine. We have our own protections. He sort of peers around you and looks directly at Maya. Hello.
Lynn?
You look familiar.
Do I?
Yes.
So,
You look like a friend of mine.
you do have a nose I feel like I've seen once before.
Perhaps. I do have one of those faces, I find. Anyway, how can I help you all?
Hold up, Zeke. Listen, you mean to tell me some flower blew up our? That doesn't even. That's kind of weird. Like, can you explain that one again?
There was a flower, born of man-made means, and it, like time, reached around your castle and will pull it into the dirt, like a tombstone crumbling over the centuries. Of course, it was going to happen eventually, but I didn't realize it was so soon. Time is so difficult.
Astrid, what is Zeke talking about? I don't know what's happening here. Okay.
I know you are young and inexperienced in the ways of the world and the Vaesen, but fire can be described perhaps as a red flower, my dear Johann.
Oh, code. Okay.
Ezekiel saw the castle burn to the ground.
Gotcha.
Fire.
Okay. That's what I'm saying. Just talk. Let me know.
Sounds
All right,
like
but yes,
they
right.
dance.
You must forgive my friend. He is young and foolish.
Well, they'll outgrow it, I'm sure.
If they live that long, certainly.
Yeah, you never know, but we're doing our best. But it's been real, Zeke.
He
You
sort
know
of...
if the chariots are still running?
Yes, I'm sure they are. Or perhaps they were. And he sort of wanders over to you, Johann, and sort of examines you. And his hands are not quite touching your face, but they are inches away from it as he sort of considers you.
What's up?
Your bloodline. It is
Yes.
interesting. It's not from here, is it?
We're like, next door. You cross the pond, something geography. Yeah. Wait, why? Why?
You've seen so much.
I have. But we don't need to get into that though right now. We're kind of in a hurry,
I understand. Well, I hope your bravery serves you as well as your impulsiveness does.
Yeah. Anyway, Astrid, lead the way.
Do you know perhaps where we could acquire some warmer clothing? I do not know when we will next be near a fire.
Oh, yes. Emmeline, can we not provide? And Emmeline sort of stands and says, I believe so. If you'd all follow me, I think I may have something that can help. Ezekiel, could you check the stock for me, please? Thank you. She sort of hurriedly ushers him into the back and sort of says, all right this way. Leads you into sort of a back part of the shop, points at almost this sort of tub at the back, and they're like, people leave things all the time. Ezekiel collects things, so just have a look, see if you find anything useful. You're free to take it. I don't mind.
We are happy to help lighten your burden, and thank you for the gift.
You're welcome.
Pretty cool stuff.
We try, or at least I do. And she leaves and goes back into the shop. You are all able to kit yourselves out with something a little more toasty. You each find maybe a nice coat or a good scarf. In fact, let's go around the group and see what everyone would be prioritizing in their winter wear. Dagmar, what do you choose?
There is this like big green, almost army-like coat with the buttons and everything, and she kind of just sloughs it over what she's wearing and grabs a random knitted scarf, and that's it. Done.
Okay. Maya.
I see you in the corner, almost like a coat that once was, except not quite. It has lost many buttons apart from one. I feel like it would do up quite nice around my neck to keep it quite warm. And keep my shoulders rather warm as well. And I think I would like to go for that one, if I may.
All right. Johan.
I go with a longer, sleek, windbreaky kind of black coat. Don't want to be too bulky for, moving around when we get revenge finally,
Absolutely. You want to be ready.
Absolutely.
Astrid.
Astrid finds something more like a shawl, something that can cover more of the body, just a single piece of fabric, almost like a blanket, but with maybe a bit of a cinch for the neck.
All right. And it's with all of that in place that you manage to find your way back out into the shop. Emmeline wishes you luck. You hear a goodbye from the back room, and then you are all once again out into the night. As you head towards the carriage, you know that you have a pretty long journey ahead, and finally, the skies are beginning to cloud over. It does cloud over even more so as you begin your trek down to the historical region of Vreta, where you will find the Vreta Island. The wind begins to rattle at the carriage doors, and the horse begins to spook every now and again, sort of veering off to the side before the driver rights the beast and continues on. There is a gentle tip-tap of rain as it begins on the top of the roof, which seems to ebb and flow almost with the winds themselves as you reach the area. And it is after a few hours of idle small talk and trying to keep yourselves entertained in this, frankly, rather dull carriage ride that you see the Vreta area. This historical region is now loomed over by a bruise-like low cloud that blankets the sky from horizon to horizon. The spires of the abbey that you see coming into view before you reach up like they're threatening to puncture these clouds, and surrounding the aged building is a well-maintained graveyard that the cart rumbles through on its way to the docks that you see just ahead. The only noise is the rhythmic noise of a frigid ground being broken open as a wizened old gravedigger, twisted like an old tree, gouges chunks out of the earth, cloak pulled tight against him around the shrill form within. The carriage stops in sight of the docks, refusing to get any closer, and the driver ushers you out quickly before hurriedly turning the carriage around and driving away, leaving you halfway through this graveyard in the looming shape of an abbey.
Well, the port is not too far. Let us proceed.
Well, you sure know how to bring us to nice places.
Oh, you're too kind, Dagmar.
Please
save your praises until we are safely on the ship.
We would know exactly how to get there from here. Maya, can't you talk to your friends or something? Do they know the way? Can we what's up?
I must admit, the winds are sounding very confused by here. The branches have little tickles. that maybe we should explore slightly before
that's
being on board. But they're only slight tickles, they're not shouting at me like they normally do back at home.
You don't want to tickle too much.
Right. When you get tickled, it gets kind of painful after a while. Yeah. Anyway, yeah.
As you're all sort of having this discussion, that the ambient sort of of the gravedigger digging this hole in the ground stops. And they're just staring at you.
Forgive me, good gravekeeper. Could you perhaps point us to the way of the port?
Why?
We wish to visit our friends on the nearby island.
You have friends there.
Well, one can have friends anywhere, can one not? I passed through there many years ago on my way here to Uppsala, and it has been a long time since I have visited.
It's an interesting choice, that one. Because as you sort of are talking to him, that you can almost hear the rattling of his bones inside this old cloak. There's barely anything to this individual. Their clothes are almost way too light for the chill of the area, despite this thick wall that encases them. And they sort of pull the hood a little further down as they look over towards the docks. All the workers on that island. I don't know how many are still there. You're welcome to check.
Has something happened?
Nothing but the usual, I guess.
What's the usual?
It's more than my life's worth to tell you that. And he sort of picks up the shovel and keeps digging.
Very
That's
much,
not
thank
ominous.
you. Thank you for your time.
Are you ticklish by any chance? Anyway, we should. Yeah. I figured it would help with the directions, with the tickling of the branches. Anyway, we should go check and see if there's anybody there.
Johan, you should try. Yeah, do it. I'm sure. Friendship. For the
Oh
sake
my
of friendship.
gosh, I could be friends with this guy. You're right. You know what? We should walk up and just go see if he's ticklish a little bit. Maybe it might brighten his day a little bit.
Johan,
it's like a little
we are
dreary.
right behind you.
Oh my gosh! All right, cool. I'm gonna go up there. I'm gonna kind of see what's going on, and then I'm gonna give him a nice little.
I wouldn't. There is an aura. I cannot explain it, but I generally don't think you should do that at all.
That's the worst that could happen. You make a friend for life.
As you're walking towards him, Johan, you see that his eyes haven't left you. But you could also swear that he's looking at your friends as well, somehow. Each of you kind of in turn feel like he's staring directly at you.
This isn't feeling like a good idea anymore. Maybe Maya might be onto something here.
To the docks.
Yeah, the docks are sounding wonderful right about now. God, we gotta get out of here.
Did we not offer the gravedigger at least one of our snacks? He looks awfully chilly in his cloak before we head off. Surely we should part on good terms.
You know what? At the very least, yes. At the very least, I could throw him a piece of bread or something from a distance. From a distance, I could throw it, just chuck it, and just maybe he might catch it. I don't know. I'm sure he's got great reflexes.
Do you throw this bread?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
As you throw this sort of hunk of what was left of one of the sort of sultana loaves towards the gentleman,
Dagmar's pocket. Yeah.
Out of Dagmar's pocket, obviously.
It was mine.
Too bad.
You see a brief flick of the eyes upwards, and then you hear a "ah!" as a huge raven swoops down from the roof of the church, snatches the bread in its talons, and does a large swoop and begins to circle.
The bird's got my. You give him a pastry to a bird.
Did not see that coming.
That later. I gave you my juice.
Very athletic
Good to
bird.
befriend birds.
You owe me a pastry.
Next city, I got you.
Better.
Oh dear.
I pull out a full pastry and slowly walk up to the gravedigger and hold it out to them for your trouble.
Why, thank you, kind miss. I will remember your offering. And he sort of reaches out his hand and takes it, retracts it.
My pastry was also offered, just for the record.
He knows.
Good.
Sort of looks up towards the raven, who gives another loud screeching caw as it continues to circle, before the gravedigger takes the pastry, sort of leans down almost, and you can hear the spine within the figure begin to sort of creak under the effort of the movement as he very laboriously reaches down and drops the pastry into the grave he's been digging. Better, I think.
I've never been to a bread funeral before, so this is a first. Okay.
Johan, let us walk.
We should do that.
I believe it's time to go onwards.
Okay. As you make your way away from the graveyard, you are relieved to see that the docks itself are fairly near to this place. You reach the docks, however, to find it completely abandoned. The 5 piers and the well-appointed 2-story shack where the harbour master would work, the fishing boats tied up to the jetties, all suggest signs of a thriving industrial complex, but you don't see a soul. There is one rowboat tied up to one of the jetties, oars wrapped in a swath of canvas inside the boat itself. And as you glance at the boathouse, it is a shack, sort of a brick-built house that appears to have been built perhaps in the last few decades at most. Its roof is still holding up perfectly fine, glimmering with the signs of fresh rainfall. And as you get closer, you can see that the windows are dusty and the interior is dark. The door is secured by a chain and padlock.
Well, what's the move?
Johan, you're a strapping young lad. And there is no one here. And hasn't been for a long time.
And I peek inside.
Of course you can.
Okay, Dagmar goes to peek inside.
As you sort of peer inside these dust-choked windows, you try and sort of rub a bit of the grime away, and your hand comes away dirty and dark, but the window doesn't unfog any at all. As you try and peer inside, you see maybe dark floorboards. Is that a desk over there, a shelving unit? You're not entirely sure. You don't see any movement.
Hello?
Any luck, Dagmar?
I don't think anybody's here. I think we're good.
Well, if no one's here and we have a boat, we have places to go. We might as well just use it. Don't have to go to waste, right?
We shouldn't take someone's boat. They may need it.
We're borrowing it. We'll bring it back later.
We'll bring it right back. You know, I'm sure they're just on vacation.
We will have to
Would they
return
not
this
be
way eventually.
Over there?
Perhaps we should spend the night. It is quite dark now. Spend the night in this abode, and at first light head out in the rowboat if no one has showed up by then.
That sound good, Maya?
I check if the door opens, like...
You check the door and it does give under your hand, and as you sort of push it down and swing it open, there is certainly give there, and the door is now open. It's just this sort of padlock and the chain keeping it shut. You think maybe if you sort of bust it a little bit, applied some elbow grease, you could maybe get it open.
I could also try to lockpick it. Dagmar wants to try and lockpick it.
Okay, you try and pick the lock. Cool. Please roll me a pool of your precision and your stealth to pick the lock.
Precision and stealth. One success.
One success. Fantastic. As you sort of take maybe some implements out of your hair, maybe a sort of handy dandy little iron pick, you slide into this lock and begin to fiddle around with the tumblers. You're maybe there for a couple of minutes. At one point, you fear that you have snapped something, or that maybe your implement isn't quite strong enough to jimmy it open, and then click, the lock gives, and the padlock slides off.
Did it.
Well done, Dagmar. No harm, no foul.
This was wise.
I peek through the door, see if I can see more. If there's definitely nobody inside.
Don't hear any noise, and you certainly don't hear anything acknowledging you as you walk in. But as you look around this place that is unveiled as the door creaks open like the groan of an old man in church, the door creaks and flakes of rust fall like red snow from the hinges, the lock, and the chain. The moody grey daylight outside filters in through these dust windows, bathing what appears to be an abandoned office of some sort in sallow light. Clear desks atop which dust motes swirl are present, and there are dark floorboards that are stained in places, with bookshelves bolted to the walls that have been similarly cleaned out, some of which are in a state of clear disrepair. The shelves are hanging, fallen down atop the others. Fat spiders nest in the corners and scurry out of sight as you walk in, startled to have been disturbed. And at the back of the room, there is a rickety staircase that leads up to the top floor.
Well, this place seems cozy. A good place to shelter from the elements.
That's one name for it. I immediately go look through all the stuff to see if I can find any of value, or maybe some interesting papers, or...
Okay, roll me some logic and investigation, please, Dagmar.
One success.
One success. Okay. As you're sort of making your way around this place, you catch a look out through one of the windows that is perhaps a little less dusty, and you can spot out of the side the low spit of land that is Retta Island. The structures upon it are sort of looming large like these strange beasts, including an unlit lighthouse up ahead. But in the room itself, you find a discarded piece of paper inside a waste paper bin that's been left on its side, containing a very familiar poem. You recognize this as the poem of Monday's child, the poem from which you, as Thursday's children, those with the gift of seeing Vaesen, that is, got your name.
Hey, I found something. Isn't this that poem? Astrid, this is for you. And I hand it to Astrid, already kind of losing interest.
What is... Maya, my dear,
Yes?
how do you feel about this place? It is covered from the cold air outside, but what do you think?
The floorboards don't creak warmth in the way their home has. I feel that something isn't quite right in the air, if I'm honest. But it's oddly alluring in a particular way.
Maya, could you make me a roll of your empathy and observation, please?
Mm-hmm.
As they talk, Dagmar kind of continues trying to loot this place, and when she realizes there's nothing on the bottom floor, she heads upstairs.
Okay. As you're headed upstairs, are you taking Johan with you?
I'm going. I don't know what Johan's doing.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, don't go alone. You don't even know where we are right now.
It'll be fine. Come on.
All right, jeez.
What's it, my empathy and
Your observation, please.
observation?
Indeed.
Huzzah!
And how many successes was that?
That was one.
One success? Fantastic. As you're sort of talking and beginning to feel the resonance of the area, you've always been in tune with what's around you. man-made objects are harder. Jalenkreuz was different. It's not quite man-made, certainly not anymore. Nothing natural could avoid being seen in that place, becoming part of the walls. But here is industry. This is it's not a heart. It's not an organ. Maybe it's a bone. Maybe it's a hand? No. A finger, perhaps. Maybe it's the finger of this organization, of this industry around this area. This place is important, but it's important because it's part of something bigger, or at least it was. You think that it was part of something bigger, and it will be again, but in the meantime, there is silence. And the building sinks into itself and waits for its purpose to return.
Yeah, that is exactly what it's speaking to me. It once was, and it will be again, but for now, it is almost like a shell. But I feel like there is something beneath the floorboards, within the very earth surrounding, that is going to pull us forwards, and the path will follow. We just got to listen and follow with what our innards are speaking out to us.
Of course. Thank you, Maya, for your insights as always.
You're welcome.
Upstairs, Dagmar and Johan, you make your way up, and once again, it's sort of dusty and decrepit, but whilst it's just as strict clean, it seems somehow immediately less decrepit. It seems it was better cared for, and whereas downstairs there were a multitude of desks, up here there are only 2, and they are much larger. Each has an excellent view of the docks through large bay windows, and behind one of them is an empty corkboard. Dagmar, as you're looking around, if you intend to loot this like you did the previous floor, please make me that roll again of your logic and investigation. And Johan, if you are helping, she may add an extra dice to that roll.
Sure, I'm helping, but I don't know what we're looking for exactly, but I'm helping.
All right. So that's an extra dice to your roll then, Dagmar.
Right? No luck.
No luck? Would you like to perhaps push your luck in order to try and see if you can get some successes here? I will allow you to make a pushed roll, re-rolling all of your dice in exchange for a little something.
You know what? Yeah, sure.
Oh dear.
Still no luck.
Still no luck.
I really wanted to find something.
As you move around this place, you can't help but feel a deep sinking feeling that something here has been lost. It seems so familiar and yet so foreign all at once, and you think that maybe once upon a time, if you'd gotten here sooner perhaps, there would have been something to find, but everything's gone now. Everything's gone. You're always too late, never on time. Maybe that's why you're in the position you're in now. And it's as those thoughts resonate in your mind that you're going to take the hopeless condition for me as you feel yourself sinking somewhat into a state of melancholy.
All right. Where do I... Oh, wait, I found it. I go sit down at one of the desks.
Could I go and follow Dagmar?
Yes, you can. You find Dagmar upstairs.
Little warmth on the shoulder. Just for a little bit of reassurance, I think.
Okay. It's in this moment of quiet that we will draw back from our scene briefly in order to take a quick break. Thank you, everyone who has joined us so far. We will be back very, very shortly. As we once again bring ourselves back to the historical region of Vreta, and the island looming nearby, a large raven swoops over the moon, blocking it out briefly. The clouds choke the sky. And we once again join our Thursday's Children, our chapter of the Upsala Society. Following in through the windows, past the dust motes, and to the upstairs of a small boathouse that was recently built in the middle of this abandoned dockyard, where they currently sit, trying to recuperate a little bit, waiting for the night to pass.
It's a bit chilly, isn't it? Just a little bit.
Also, Dagmar, are you okay? You kind of like mellowed out a little bit there while we're looking around. Are you good?
I'm good. Just a little disappointed. That's all.
About what? You're the reason we got here in the first place. The freaking, the lockpick in the hair. Like, you're literally a god. What do you mean?
Well, what's the point of lockpicking if there's nothing to be had?
Well, we have this house, so you need to stop being so down on yourself because you are doing an absolute amazing job, all right?
All right, pass me my drink, please.
Yeah, inspiration juice, we need to find it.
Okay. Johan, roll me your empathy and inspiration, please.
All right.
And Dagmar, does your imbibement provide any help to certain inspiration rolls?
With that, I'm assuming you mean liquor?
I am indeed, yeah.
Then
One
yes.
success.
Okay. Johan, would you like to add another dice to that pool? Just roll an additional d6 for me.
Sure.
Why not?
Keys, fun. Okay, did that right? That says one success.
Okay, no problem. Johan, as you're sort of giving your speech here, and Dagmar, you feel the familiar liquor sort of swelling around your system, warming your organs against the night's chill. And it feels like all those times that you'd found yourselves a crump hole, if you will, in amongst the tragedy and the chill and the tumult of the outside world, the brief moments of respite that have kept you going throughout your long, long journey. And Johan's voice and the liquor steal your soul a little bit, and you may scrub out that condition you took as you begin to feel a little better.
You know what, Johan? Thanks. You want another swig?
Absolutely. I need all kinds of inspiration. You're teaching me so much.
As one does, and I do like the worst, like, over dramatic, horrible curtsy I've ever done.
Haha. We appreciate you. Now we should also go see what the rest of the group is up to, all right?
All right.
Okay. Maya and Astrid, what are you doing at this time? I know, Maya, you were stood by Dagmar trying to offer her some comfort, but is there anything else you two would like to be getting on with?
I feel like I would... Is there a window up on this floor?
There is indeed. There are sort of large dramatic bay windows looking out into the dockyard.
I like to think that I am stood by the window, glancing out, watching the world go by, looking, peering, almost waiting for something in the energies to have a little bump pointing out in our direction.
Okay. Astrid?
Astrid is spending some time clearing out some of the dust to make some pockets of not necessarily clean spots, but places where we can at least get a little bit of shut-eye without breathing in all the dust.
Okay, easy enough to do. Maya, as you're sort of staring out into the dockyard and the large open space of the water beyond, you see that upon the water, obscuring the top of the island and getting denser, is a thick mist. Please roll me your empathy and observation.
Okie dokie. Can't quite make it out in the distance, you know.
You can't quite make it out, that's all right. If you would like to try and push your luck to re-roll those failures, I will make you the same deal I made Dagmar.
I think I would like to peer just a little bit closer with my singular eye.
All right, please push your roll.
I think I see something over there. Something? It's a bit blurry, though.
How many successes was that?
That was one.
One success. Fantastic. As you peer out into the mists and then back into the mainland, then once again back out into the mists, you realize that perhaps you're using the wrong senses here. Perhaps you shouldn't be looking. Perhaps you should be listening. And as you sort of tilt your head towards the water, it's when you hear it. You hear a tinkling sort of lullaby in the distance, a wordless song, almost a drawl maybe. You can't make out specifics about it, but it's enthralling, and you can't work out whether it's near or far or left or right, really, even. It's just beautiful. And it's as you sort of realize this that you're going to take for me the frightened condition, as you begin to realize that once again, something you don't understand is here. Something is here. You don't know where it is. It could be right behind you. Maybe that's exactly where it is. No, in fact, you're quite sure. It's right over your left shoulder. It's waiting for you to turn around.
Could I not turn around, but just be aware that there is something looming? But I also don't really want to see.
It's as you try and refuse to turn around and inch out of the corner of your eye that you catch sight of Dagmar leant up against the desk. For a moment, you swear that it was her who was behind you, but she's over there now.
Friends? Something is not quite right within this building.
What do you mean?
There is
Are
a
you
presence.
right?
There is a presence here, and I cannot. It feels near yet over there, and it's here but not there, and something is not right within the energies here, and I'm goosebumped, and the hairs on the back of my neck are standing. Something is not right. Dagmar, were you right behind me? Because
No, I was over here. I swear. This time I'm speaking the truth.
something isn't right here. Something is either with us or not with us. I'm not.
I mean, this is kind of weird, even for Maya. We should probably look into this, or maybe go somewhere. This is getting kind of spooky, actually.
I go over to Maya and I kind of like hook my arm through hers, and I'm like, come on, let's go outside for a second. And like I take her out of the little cabin
As you
for some
head
air.
as you head down the stairs, Astrid sees you coming down. Good. I have prepared some spaces for us. We will be very comfortable here, I think.
Astrid, maybe not now. Something's not all right. Maya's not okay. Come on, and we go outside.
Okay. You leave Maya outside. Maya, as you're sort of stepping outside with Dagmar sort of clutching onto your arm, you feel the warmth of her presence there beside you, and you realize that Yeah, no, she's right. That can't have been Dagmar back there because it certainly didn't feel as warm as Dagmar does now.
Dagmar, have I ever said to you about how gloriously warm you are?
I don't think you have.
I almost
But
forgot
thank
what that
you.
felt like. Another person's touch.
How are you doing?
Something is still creeping beneath my skin. I'm still not 100% sure what it could be, but something is still not right.
I offer her my flask again, like just small sip, okay? And I offer it to her.
I feel like to bond with Dagmar, Maya will happily take a little sip.
Okay.
A little sip to try and bring herself back into centeredness.
Did you see something, or was it more something you felt like?
It's conflicting is what it is. I was only looking out the window, but I could see something almost in the distance, but not quite. And rather than seeing, you know how I told you before that the hallway sung to me back at home? It was almost like I could hear something, but I can't quite grasp on what it was. It was almost like melody without being a melody. It was beautiful yet frightening. It made the hairs on the back of my neck stand, almost as if something is not there. And then I swear to goodness, I felt your warmth. Well, not even your warmth, if I'm honest. It was nothing but cool coldness upon my shoulder. And it almost like beckoned me to look. And I tried it as I might not to, but I couldn't help but look. And it was coming. It was coming from the lake. It was just something within the very grounds around here. I feel like there is something that has found us, and I'm not 100% sure is what it is, but something within me is feeling turmoil, and I'm a little bit frightened, if I'm honest with you, Dagmar, just a little bit, and I'm not sure what it could be. I like really like hold her tight, like an arm around her, and I try to look out over the water to like see if I maybe see what she saw or hear what she heard.
Okay, make me your logic and your vigilance, please. Nothing. As you glance over to look at the mist, it looks like a cloud. It's low and it has rolled deep into the waters itself, almost as if it is descending into the very depths, and you're not sure how deep those go. You can't see, it's too dark. And then it's as you're watching this and trying to get a bead on the mist itself that raven caws and swoops low over it, perching and coming to rest on one of the piers. And you're distracted as it sits there, sort of waddles forward a couple steps, cocks its head to the side, and just watches.
Hi, birdie. Look, Maya, it's the bird. I like try to distract her a little bit.
I feel like at this point, Maya might be making noises towards the bird, almost to try and communicate. But who can communicate with the bird, honestly? But I feel like Maya would try with her might to sing a song back to it, in hopes of finding some sort of way to like still the air for her while everything is rippling within her.
It sort of gives a few chirps back to you and hops forward again, cocks its head to the other side.
I feel like Maya's almost mimicking the bird, almost trying to get some sort of being on the same ground, almost as if knowing there might be something a little bit more going on into its little noggin.
You just keep sort of mimicking it. It again takes another 2 steps. It's maybe about a foot away from you now.
Is it saying anything?
Just music. I can't quite put my finger on it.
Well, maybe don't put a finger on a bird, but other than that, he seems pretty happy.
Yeah. Something's... Could I possibly almost reach out and do almost like a hello gesture to the bird?
Of course you can. You sort of reach out a hand and a gesture of goodwill, and the bird once again gives a little hop, hops from foot to foot, and then with one big powerful swoop of its wings, it sort of swoops upwards and lands on your forearm.
My little birdie. Well, I say little. Okay.
Ask them if they liked my pastry. Was it good? Did it taste good?
As you're sort of talking, it kind of hops around on Maya's arm to face you, Dagmar, and gives a little caw.
I'll take that as a yes. All right.
How curious.
And with that, it flies away again.
Everything all right out there, girls?
How are you feeling?
It's getting dark out here. We should perhaps come in and close the door. We don't know what is afoot.
With going back in, Maya?
I think at this point, Maya, from the warmth of a bird and the warmth of Dagmar, suddenly regains what she's just nearby felt. And remembers what happened moments ago. And almost like dread fills her skin once more about the thoughts about going back within the room, within the little house. Astrid?
Yes, Maya.
I know you often listen to me and ask for my thoughts. But I honestly, to goodness, feel like something is not right within the airs here. Have you seen something, noticed something? Something is still not quite right, if I'm honest.
Astrid takes a couple steps out of the hut. I see a great deal of fog. It is good that we did not row across in this weather. And I see nothing else. I think I heard the bird was here, but if there is anything around, the safest place for us to be is not outside.
I agree with that much, but Maya's usually good at this stuff. I don't know, like maybe we should go back to the gravedigger. Like that person works here. They must have a place to stay. We gave him pastries. We offered grave bread. That must account for something, right?
Dagmar, it is good to call on favors, but it is very soon for that. If we are in more dire straits, certainly, of course. But I am not too keen to call in a favor so quickly.
How far are we from the graveyard?
Perhaps 30 feet, 40.
And in metric system?
20, 25 meters, 10 meters.
Close by. Yeah. I nod at Astrid and turn and walk to the graveyard to find the gravedigger.
Okay. Is anyone going with her?
I'm going. Let's go. We're going to leave Astrid there. Yeah.
Okay. Johan and Dagmar, the dream team, venture towards the graveyard.
Can I follow suit just a little bit behind?
Of course you can. Yeah, of course you can. Astrid, yep. You head towards the graveyard, and you no longer hear the movement of dirt being moved out of the earth and onto the ground. And you see, discarded by the grave that he was previously digging, is the shovel. You also see the front of this huge and very old abbey. It is tall and very, very well built, and there are almost tear stains of darkness running down the side of it where the weather has caused rot and erosion over the centuries. But the doors have been flung open, and they reveal pews, an altar, large sort of gold candlesticks, support pillars of white stone.
Well,
Dagmar, don't take anything. Anyway, we should look around and find out where the gravedigger is.
fine. All right. Hello?
Hello?
As you walk inside, you see, sort of turning slightly to the right, sat on one of the pews to the far right, near where the body and blood of Christ is usually kept. You see the familiar figure of the gravedigger. He's sort of slouched over on one of the pews. He's not moving.
I walk over. Hello, kind gravedigger, sir. We were wondering if we mayhaps could reserve one of these pews for the night. And like as I walk over to face him.
Yep, as you walk over to face him and begin to talk, this figure sort of slowly unfurls from where they were curled over on themselves, sort of stretching up, and you can hear the of the spinal cord sort of realigning as he unfurls.
Pain?
And he sort of looks around at all of you and says, the travelers. Yes, you can find refuge here, as so many have.
Oh, that's
Cool.
super kind of you.
That's great.
Perhaps we still have some extra pastries if you would like one.
Yeah, I'm sure Astrid's got a couple stowed away somewhere, you know, to just, yeah.
We don't have much else to offer, but it's something, right?
Right. And a little bit of inspiration juice, always for the travels, you know? Yeah.
Of course. I've heard that that's also enjoyed here.
Absolutely. Sound good, Maya? This is a pretty good place to be, or what's your take on this?
Does it feel all right?
Still feels. Well, despite its cold exterior, it feels slightly warmer here, yet not quite as cold as it once was where we were. Could I speak to the gravedigger?
Of course you can.
I feel like I almost very, as politely as possible, could ask him, while also still trying to keep my voice quite low, almost in like, not rattle his bones. Sir? Could I ask you something?
You may. You have already paid tribute.
Tribute? Oh. Well, could I ask? Is there something within these lands that almost sings upon through the grass, through the waters, through the mist? Because I feel like something is latched, and I'm not 100% sure what it could be.
There are many things about this land that people do not wish to know. They see, but they don't see. Do you understand my meaning?
I do.
There are so many below the ground here. So many bones. So many souls. And so little space. Some of them move.
Huh. Moving. How curious.
Yeah.
That makes me uncomfortable.
A little bit, yeah, I'm right there with you. Okay.
But Maya seems alright, and that's what matters,
Yeah,
right?
that's what I was thinking
All
too.
right.
Same page. All right.
Okay, well, in that case, maybe we should go get Astrid. I can't believe she stayed there. Oh my god. All right.
My goodness.
Okay.
I would like to almost like perch on the floor, little bit distance away from the gravedigger, and just await. I feel
Right.
like almost like observing him, but without trying to distract him from whatever his mind maybe conjuring or thinking, or whether it is at all.
Okay. So I think me and Dagmar will go get Astrid, and you have a weirding contest with the Gravedigger and see who breaks first. We'll be back.
Okay, Dagmar, Johan, as you head back to the boathouse, Astrid, what have you been doing whilst your compatriots have been on an adventure?
Mostly pacing and muttering.
Okay. Have you been inside the boathouse or outside of it?
At first, inside pacing, going up and just staring out the window, muttering deprecations about the folly of youth. And then after 5-10 minutes go by and they're not back, is outside pacing right outside, every now and then glancing toward the graveyard. Just being stubborn.
Okay. So, as you sort of move around this place, please make me a logic and vigilance roll as you're sort of moving around, rearranging things, trying to make a good haven for somewhere against the cold.
Could I invoke my advantage?
Of course you can. What would you like to use?
On this logic and vigilance roll. Astrid has been very jumpy, especially now that the others have left, even more. Paranoid maybe is a strong word, considering that people were actually after them, but is trying to keep an extra close eye on their surroundings.
Of course. Roll with an additional die to show the advantage that you have gained from your years of sleuthing.
Okay, logic and vigilance.
Indeed.
That is 0 successes.
0 successes. I can make you the same devil's bargain that I made the others if you would like. You may re-roll your dice, but you will take a little something extra.
Let's push our luck.
You will push your luck. Please re-roll your dice.
1 success.
1 success. All right. As you look around this place, you begin outside, you move inside, you begin to try and look around and get a better idea of what's going on, especially seeing as how shaken Maya was. Perhaps there's something in here that you've missed. And it's following this thought that leads you to the upstairs of the shack, to the desk at the very, very back. You see that inside this place, one of the top drawers is chunkier than the others. The bottom of it is too thick and not quite flush at the very back. You pull up the bottom of the drawer to reveal an eclectic ring of keys, huge brass keys of various sizes and shapes. Also in this drawer, you find a fine shield-shaped steel pendant upon which has been engraved a woman in side profile holding a bunch of wildflowers and crowned with a wreath of ivory.
I'll pocket the keys and, distracted, study this pendant more closely. Is this figure perhaps royalty? Perhaps there's some symbolism here that I've encountered before?
Roll me your logic and your learning for me.
No successes.
No successes. And perhaps it's this that does it in that moment. Perhaps it's looking at this strange symbol, looking at where it was hidden, and a deep furrow appearing in your brow as you realize that this is something that not only do you not understand, but that absolutely shouldn't be here. This is a place of industry. Why would they have something like this in a hidden compartment in a drawer of all things? What is going on here? What aren't you seeing? And could what you're not seeing be endangering you and your companions? Could you be leading them deeper into a trap here and you don't even know it? Maybe this boathouse is the problem. Maybe if you stay here, you will all die. Please take the frightened condition from you as you begin to doubt everything that you've seen. And this is where Dagmar and Johan find you.
Oh, you've come back. Wonderful, wonderful.
Of course.
And,
Hey, what's going on? You all right?
oh yeah, yes, of course. There's nothing to be worried about. How's Maya?
Maya's over in the Abbey with the gravedigger, who
Making
is
a friend.
perfectly happy to supply us with a different place to stay, by the way.
Just toss that in there.
Of course. Well, seeing as you have gone to all this trouble to cash in that favor, perhaps we should go and take full advantage of that and leave this
Mayhaps
place.
we should.
Oh, please, after you.
All right.
Being kind of weird, Astrid. You sure you're okay?
It's been quite a long day, of course. I'm all right. I'm just very tired. You know how us old people get.
All right.
I never want to get old. Jesus.
Come on.
All right.
Let's head to the Abbey.
You all sort of exit the boathouse and make your way back to the Abbey. And you find Maya sat respectful distance from the gravedigger, who is talking quietly to her in a sort of low voice, like wooden wind chimes, of various stories. Maya, he tells you of the catacombs beneath this abbey, and how they've been here for centuries before him, and how they'll be here for centuries after, and how no one knows how deep they go.
Peculiar, isn't it? How like corridors could just keep going on and on and on. And yet they never seem to end.
I quite
Do
agree.
I look over and see my friends who have just arrived at the Abbey. I give them a little, nervous little... Hello, friends.
Hey.
I have heard of your hospitality for us here, and I thank you.
See the figure sort of turn towards you, and there's once again that cracking of bone sound as they do so. He nods. You are welcome to stay.
Well, shall we get comfortable?
Astrid, do you happen to have more pastries?
Yes, here. I seem to be about 4 or 5 more left.
4 or 5 more? Where are you packing these things? Oh my gosh. I knew Astrid was good for it though.
I grab one of the pastries and I offer it to the gravedigger again.
You see a
Thank
smile crack across their face as they take it from you, sort of a long, spindly hand that seems to have almost too many joints. And as he takes it and retracts it back into the cloak, he says, "Thank you.
You're welcome.
There is more than me here that needs feeding. It can be difficult. So I appreciate it when I receive some help."
All right. Well, do give them my well wishes. And Dagmar kind of like inches away backwards, trying to find a place to sleep because the gravedigger makes her uncomfortable.
He sort of stands and gives you all, once again, there's that horrible cracking sound as he bows. But he does smile and then turns and heads deeper into the bowels of the church, leaving you to your rest. Is there anything each of you would like to do before you come to sleep?
I want to go over to Maya and make sure that she finds a good place to sleep and that she has everything she needs.
Okay, no worries. Maya, roll me your empathy and your inspiration, please, with an additional dice from Dagmar.
I managed to get 2 successes.
Fantastic. Easily enough, you manage to find somewhere a little more comfortable, far enough away from the doors that you don't get any of the draft, and sort of far enough away from the back of the church that you don't get any of the odd draft coming from there either. You manage to bundle yourself up in such a way on top of the pews that you have a small bubble of warmth, and with Dagmar's help, sort of pressing things up against you and putting something, bundled up piece of clothing under your head as a makeshift pillow, you find yourself quite a comfortable rest. Please take back that frightened condition that you took earlier as you feel yourself settle once again into courage. Johan.
I go over to Astrid to see if I can get myself one of those remaining pastries before they go quick, you know? Just want to make sure.
You go for a midnight snack?
Absolutely.
That can be done. Astrid, are you willing to relinquish one of your closely guarded pastries?
Astrid looks Johan up and down. Johan, were you bleeding?
Oh yeah, but it's not as bad as it looks, and just gotta, I'm fine. Just gotta walk it off.
Of course, yes. A midnight stroll through the cold is quite bracing, I have heard.
Yes. Just gotta surpass your limits,
Hands over a pastry.
I appreciate you. I'm gonna enjoy this pastry. Just know I'll be thinking about you with every bite, but not in a weird way. Anyway, okay, thanks.
As you all come to rest in the bowels of the church, you have various different quality of sleeping over the course of the evening. For some of you, it is a fairly dreamless sleep. Johan, Astrid, nothing bothers you too much as you take your rest here. Maya, there is still an element of that lilting lullaby in the back of your mind, but it doesn't bother you all that much. Dagmar, however, you dream of dark hallways, and you dream of yourself walking down them. You see dark metal sconces lining the walls, unlit, covered in thick spider webs as though they haven't been lit in many, many years, and you turn corridor after corridor, corner after corner, trying to find your way out, and it just seems to keep going. And it's as you're walking that you hear a familiar voice. Dagmar, I'm here. Can you see me? You need to find me, all right? Just don't.
Well, wait.
Just be safe. It's the voice of Wenzel Engstrom, the man who safeguarded you for so many years. And as you hear his voice, you try to follow it, but it's directionless. It's everywhere and nowhere all at once. And eventually, after running for what seems like miles down endless corridors, you wake up. And the rest of you wake up too. And it is morning. The mists outside have lifted somewhat to reveal the expanse of lake leading towards Retta Island. And the waves lap gently against the shore.
I don't know about you guys, but I slept like a baby. I don't know, something about a midnight pastry just really does it for me, How'd you guys sleep?
Not particularly good. I'm blaming these pews. Who sleeps on these? Who thought that these would make for comfortable beds?
I thought I was just sleeping in a church for you, but yes, the pews. No, you're right. I think I might got a splinter on the way. It's getting up. Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Weird dreams.
I would have thought you have slept in worse places, Dagmar.
I have, but something about church benches, you know? Just. Yeah. It was not a good night.
Okay.
You good, Maya?
I believe so. Quite. Yes.
You still feel that presence from last night at all? Or how you okay from all that? Or after a good night's sleep?
Faintly. I could almost sense something within, but not. But it doesn't feel quite as close. But I still feel like it might be looming.
Well then,
Okay.
perhaps it is good that the air is clear and we can row across to the island.
Yeah. If we go, but what about the gravedigger?
Oh, yeah, we should tell him thanks for letting us sleep here.
Or should we? Could I like to think I have at least one roll within my pocket. Could I not just take off a little chunk and leave it within the pew and a little smaller chunk for the crow friend, just in case?
Of course you can. You don't see the gravedigger anywhere this morning, but as you look up at the altar, you see that familiar shape of the raven that has just sort of nestled down beside one of the candlesticks, its fur feathers sort of poofing out slightly as it's come to rest beside these sort of spire-like candles. It's just watching you.
Marvelous. Yes.
Okay.
All right. Can we go now?
Johan, you can row, can you not?
Oh, yeah. I can row for the whole entire group if I have to. You know, let's go.
You may have to. Let us go.
Fantastic. As you all sort of find your way to the pier and the docks, you find once again that rowboat waiting for you. There is a little bit of water in the bottom that you have to spend some time sort of tilling out. You think between the previous day of rain and the mist, perhaps it's accumulated. No big deal. You till it out easily enough and pile into the boat. Luckily, Vreta Island is extremely prominent. There will be absolutely no roll required to find out where you're going. It looms large ahead of you, appearing slowly out of the mist that has almost thoroughly retreated to the island proper. It appears slowly, and then all at once. You can see the plateau upon which the island's structures stand, not far above sea level, although the exact shapes are hard to make out for all the fog. There is a huge industry-ready dockyard that takes up the entire western edge of the island, ready to welcome you with huge, far-apart piers that jut out like fingers into the ocean. All of them are empty, and most of them are in a state of complete disrepair, the wood torn and broken in places and pieces. Only 3 are still fully intact. Pier 14, Pier 13, and Pier 21. All of them join in a wooden decking and work area at the very back that joins into the island proper in a wide, gently sloping path leading up to a plateau. At the crest of the gentle slope, the first building you see in this place, overlooking the dockyard, is a small brick thing with a spire jutting out from the top. As you reach the nearest jetty, bring the boat to a stop, you find yourselves having to fight the tug of the current. The tides have gotten stronger as you get closer to the island.
It's almost like it's wanting us. Do you not think?
I don't know, but this rowing isn't gonna row itself, so we need to make a decision now.
That one. And I just point at a random dock.
Works for me.
You pull into Pier 13 easily enough, tying up to the nearest mooring point and step off onto the pier proper. It's interesting as you sort of look around this place. Whilst there is destruction, you don't see any signs of rust.
All right, well, I'm just gonna take a quick little breather here for a second, for you guys, because I could do this all day. But Astrid, do you know about what's going on here? Out of curiosity.
Even before Johan has finished speaking, Astrid is already looking around warily, realizing that there is no contact here, and tries to piece together: did the same thing that happened to the castle happen here, or what?
Roll me your logic and investigation, and anyone else who would like to help may also roll the same.
That is one success.
Okay.
One success.
Wait. Oh, 0.
Okay.
So much help.
Maya
I'm the
and
rogue
you are in fact the rogue guy. Maya and Astrid, you can tell the peers are far too new looking for this to have simply been the ravages of time, but you also see no evidence of burning. You see no evidence of very obvious destruction, the ways in which you would assume this could be done. You think wood destroyed suddenly, fire maybe, but you see no sign of it. And as you sort of make your way up to the dockyard proper at the back, very far away from the piers, where sort of the empty crates are piled up one on top of the other as though waiting movement, you can't see any evidence of violence here. Dagmar and Johan, you are distracted by the building above you. In the low mists, what sunlight does break through catches on the stained glass windows of the building itself, and it's beautiful.
So I have no idea where we are. This looks pretty cool. Any ideas? Anybody?
I start walking over to the building, trying doors, looking through windows.
Okay.
Well, if you find anything.
Will do.
Gotcha.
I feel like Maya's just swaying, almost listening to the breeze, trying to find which way it's gonna point her.
Okay.
It's gone wrong.
Dagmar and Johan, as you make your way up to this brick building, you notice some more about it. The stained glass windows glimmer even in this dim light, and the spire shoots proudly up into the air. Like the abbey, the doors are flung open to reveal pews and an altar in a stone room. Past it, you see the wide path that leads you away from the docks and further into the island proper, disappearing slightly into the fogs. But here, in this building, it's clearly a chapel, and it's quiet. Even the waves seem dulled within these walls as you walk inside. The 5 stained glass windows allow vibrant, undulating light to play across the walls, causing the shadows to sway and dance when you pass them. The candles are unlit, and each window shows a stylized chalice into which a droplet of blood is falling, surrounded by a halo of dark blue glass that seems to darken the closer to the chalice it gets. A pale moon has been carved into the stone above each window, and as your eye follows the story of the 5 windows, you notice that in each one, the droplet is falling into a progressively fuller chalice, and the moon above it is also becoming fuller, until your gaze falls upon the window directly above the altar. Above this window, the carved moon is full, but the window itself is shattered, only jagged blue spikes left in the frame, allowing for a low howl of the wind outside to snake its way in. The misty day outside filters in through the hole too, shedding light on a book left flung open on the altar, and from somewhere close you can smell a pungent, earthy odor, as though something organic has been left to rot.
Oh boy, this is weird. Oh yeah.
I go over to the book. Take a quick skim.
I follow behind just to stay with my companion, but also still kind of weirded out with this whole entire decoration. Would have been my choice.
I slap Johan on the chest like, you're good, buddy.
All right, you better protect me.
Yeah, you definitely wouldn't have left it in this sort of state. You definitely don't approve of the smell of rot in here either. In fact, as you're getting closer to the altar, the smell grows. It is strong and it stings. But as you approach the book, you are able to see that the book is a Bible left flung open on Matthew 14, 13, 21, the parable of Jesus feeding the 5,000 with nothing but 5 loaves of bread and 2 fish.
5,000. I mean, at least 4 of those 5 could have gone to me. So, like, I don't know. This is kind of ridiculous. But, I mean, that's a pretty dope story, though. What do you know about all this?
I've lost interest. I'm gonna go look around if I see anything shiny or interesting. I go to check out the glass.
How deep are those pockets? I swear you've been grabbing stuff at every location.
I haven't grabbed anything, which requires me to look for more.
Okay, you know what? More power to you. I'm going to go look around also because I feel like this is kind of an important location, but I also feel like a little bit's kind of like over my head. So let's see what we can come up with.
Okay. Dagmar, please make me a roll of your logic and your investigation with an additional die for Johann's help.
All right. It's never going to be much. Nothing.
Nothing? Oh dear.
Sure, it's pretty.
Yeah, it's kind of cool in here.
Would you
weird kind of twisted
glass
way.
broke?
Would you perhaps like to succeed at a cost here?
Sure.
Okay.
Wild.
In that case, please make me your roll once again. Push your luck, and we'll see what we can do.
Absolutely nothing. Still sure is pretty here.
Still sure is pretty.
So pretty.
Okay. As you sort of wander around this chapel, you see something out of the back window. And it's so... what is that? It's shimmering in the mist. There's something odd. Maybe it's a flag, maybe it's a banner of some kind, but there's also little rows of stone poking out. Maybe it's close enough that you could grab this sort of shimmering thing as you sort of try and get a better look at it through the fog, and you reach your hand out through the window in order to try and grab it, and you feel a sharp sting of pain as you aren't paying attention and the window slices your forearm. Please take me the let's say the wounded condition, as a jagged hunk of glass comes away from the window, sticking into your forearm.
Dagmar,
Ow.
what happened?
The freaking glass. God damn, I don't have any luck.
Oh my God. Yeah, we should probably get back to the others. I'm not a doctor, and that looks really, really bad.
Fine. Oh, God damn it.
I told you one of these days something shiny was going to bite you, and this might have been the day. I don't know. Not to, say what I told the show, but...
Maya and Astrid, as all this is happening, you very much do hear Dagmar's yelp of pain from inside the chapel.
Oh. Did you feel that, Astrid?
Yes, let us go up to... Is that where they went? And starts kind of power walking up.
Soon enough, you all make your way up to the chapel, to where Dagmar and Johann are. And you see very much that Dagmar has a huge chunk of glass stuck into her forearm as Johann sort of fusses over her and tries to figure out what to do.
What? Did something come at you? What happened?
I touched something. It was shiny.
Of course
And
it
now
was.
it hurts.
Johann, do you have any more inspiration juice?
I kind of ran out at the last location, slept like a baby in that chapel, by the way. So, yeah, I'm a little out.
Dagmar, this is going to hurt a little bit. Not a lot, a little bit. And whispers to Johan, pull the piece out. It's everything is fine though. And as soon as Johan grabs at the piece, we'll pour some whiskey onto the wound.
Okay. Astrid, make me a roll of your logic and medicine with an additional dice for Johan's help. I'm tempted to say a minus dice for Maya's concern. Yeah, let's go for an additional dice for help that you're being granted to. Oh no.
That's no successes.
Oh dear. Oh dear. Okay.
Yeah, we're not doctors.
Sure, you... Good lord. You pull this hunk of glass out of Dagmar's arm, and Dagmar, this is excruciating. You feel each sort of facet and jagged edge of this glass as it once again cuts your skin, this time in the opposite direction as it is yanked out. You feel every cell being scraped and scathed, and you almost feel it touch bone as you go, and you scream. You cannot hold it in. You scream. And as this happens, Johan, you have a shard of glass in your hand, but because of the scream and the way that Dagmar is hurting, she instinctively pulls her hand back, and Astrid, your alcohol goes onto the floor, and Dagmar's arm is bleeding.
Oh no!
That could have gone better.
Did I?
I kick whatever is nearest.
Okay. Dagmar, as you kick out, your foot manages to catch the altar, and as it sort of wobbles on its hastily carpented legs, you hear a clattering sound and a splat as something falls out, and that putrid smell gets worse.
Oh no.
Oh dear.
What was that?
Oof.
Could I, in the commotion, maybe tear a little bit of fabric from one of my items of clothing to pass over to Dagmar as almost to help stem and help aid in what's going on here?
Okay, make me your logic and medicine roll. Let's just see if you do a little better.
Well wishes, huh? Not quite so good.
It was nice knowing you all.
You managed to stem the bleeding somewhat. It's a rudimentary job. You've got no formal medical training, and you know that this is a little janky, but it's the best you can do. It's enough that it stops her bleeding out onto the floor, which is helpful, but
That's a plus.
it's that's gonna bleed through those bandages pretty quickly.
Okay, guys, we got to figure this out because we kind of can't lose Dagmar, and it smells terrible in here, and we just need to make a move. It's getting bad and getting worse, like by the second. So let's make some moves here.
There are buildings here. There must be something in one of them.
All right, let's make a move. Let's make sure she's good, and then just start checking out these locations nearby.
Okay, you leave the chapel.
Yes.
Okay. As you exit the chapel, you have an excellent view of where you came. Although the fog obscures the mainland on the horizon, you can still see clearly enough to make out sort of the docks below and where it gives way to the water beyond. It's as your eye crosses over the dock that you notice something is there that is not there, sorry. That very much should be. Your boat is no longer tied up where you left it. Instead, it is bobbing serenely up and down in the water, slowly but surely, foot by foot, drifting away and leaving you alone on Vreta Island.
Did nobody tie the boat?
Oh my gosh, there's no way this is happening right now.
My arm is bleeding and nobody tied the boat?
And it's as we see this scene with our brave, adventurous Thursday's children looking over the dockyard with mist looming large behind them as they stare at their boat drifting away like a last remnant of scrap of clothing on the water, that we will bring our session to a close for the day, trekking once again back through the mists and into the shadows of Rhett Island, where we'll pick up again next week. Thank you very much, Adventure Tavern viewers and those who have come from elsewhere, for watching our little adventure today. It's been absolute great fun. Thank you very much to my beautiful and amazing cast for coming along on this adventure. I'm not sorry, nor will I be. My name is Gabriel, or Good and Chaotic. I have been your game master today and leader of shenanigans. You can find me on Twitter and various places all around the internet. I do DMs Guild stuff sometimes, but mostly I'm just sort of here telling stories and hanging out. So, you can find me. I will now go through my glorious cast and get them to introduce themselves to you. Dagmar, who are you in the real world?
In the real world, I'm Zara Zodiac. I stream here on the Twitch. I have been Dagmar for at least one episode. I've lasted for one. Can't promise the next one the way this is going right now. But you'll find me on Twitch and all the social medias under Zara Zodiac. I play right now mostly Oblivion, but just all kinds of games. Really.
Fantastic. Maya.
Hello, I'm Maya. I am actually Mizuki in the real world, and I play nothing but horror. You can find me on the Twitch lands. I am full of chaos, hype, sugar-induced energy. I don't know if that's just a bit of trash.
No, I like it.
If I'm honest.
Beautiful. Love it. Johan.
In the real world, I am Super Anthony, and we do a lot of variety on my end, and I like anime and other weird, nerdy weeb stuff. So, that's me.
Vibes. Astrid.
I know it's hard to tell under this fez, but I am Dinsdale. And I can mostly be found... I know, shocking. Mostly you can find me on twitch.tv/Dinsdale, where I also play quite a variety of games, getting back into it after a few weeks being abroad. I also, in case you couldn't tell by my character, am myself Armenian and share about all that on my channel as well.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. Once again, friendly local trans man Gabriel. I'm here. The scary store is over now. It's me. I'm nice. Special shout outs to Special shout outs to the people who have helped me make this a reality, because this has been a passion project that's a long time in the making. Obviously, the beautiful cast here who have helped bring their characters to life over many weeks of me pestering them. Lily, my gorgeous co-writer, thank you so much. You're an angel. Harry, my writing consultant and hype man, love you, dude. Southpaw, who does our designing. What the heck was that intro? Oh my goodness. Goldie, who does the voiceover, who did the editing stuff to the Carl Linnaeus voice, which was voiced by our wonderful LSP here on Adventure Tavern. Weren't they so good? And then there's also Val and Vane, who did our production today and has been our broadcasting and beating us with a stick in the background to make sure we do good things and make good content. So thank you to all those good people, and thank you guys for watching. It means a lot that you've all turned up, and I hope you'll join us again next week for more adventures in the Mythic North. Thank you so much for being here, and catch you on the flip.